Yeah, it's me again. Okay. I just read an article concerning boots for our women in the military. Well, here's another thing from my archives. In 1976, I had to go to Staff Academy up in Quantico, Virginia. Now, prior to that, my history was only 6 years. I spent 2 years with the reserves at Andrews Air Force Base. Because of my position there, I was a driver. Had to make trips over to CMC. There was about 6 of us that had commercial driver's license for military vehicles. You know, I had to have that special stamp and classes and that crap. Well, I already achieved those, because like I said, I had to know the job, all jobs, and got qualified in quite a few different jobs, not just my MOS. But anyways, I learned a lot about CMC in Quantico. I also learned about female status in the military. Well, like I said, we were going through Staff Academy. They had what was known as a family circle. Everybody in the squad, Quantico is made up, military organization, had a squad of 6. 6 had a commeration. There was about 24 of us in the barracks. And we'd get into a school circle. The barracks was made up where the ends of the building were the living areas. Center of the building was when we conducted our training, had our classes, school circles, and that kind of stuff. Well, we had a subject twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. And the outline was for the whole 6 weeks of Staff Academy. You knew exactly what you were doing, what you were talking about the whole time. Well, about the 3rd Monday, the subject for our school circle was women in the Marine Corps. Well, the first subject was getting to know each other. The first time we had our school circle. And you gave like a autobiography of yourself, what you were doing, where you were working. And what was so great about it was the fact that I learned about the grunts, I learned about the tankers, I learned about the rifleman, the rifle squads. Naturally, I was in the air wing, so I already knew about the air wing. But there were some fields that I wasn't quite sure about. But they were covered in that circle. There was a staff sergeant there. I can't recall her name. But she said that she was stationed at Headquarters Marine Corps, awaiting orders back to the fleet. Well, because of my history with Andrews Air Force Base, I knew what that was about. Anytime you await orders, you're a thorn in the bush. You're a thorn in that system that you are assigned to. In other words, you don't go along with the program that's been assigned to you. So they set you aside, they push you in the corner, and then when they feel like it, they'll take care of your situation. Because majority of the time, you just receive orders. CMC, you're on a pretty much a 3-year program. They don't want to keep you at any one place longer than 3 years because you become an old salt. You become stagnant water, so to speak. But if you are awaiting orders, you stirred the pot. You caused disharmony, put it that way. Well, I didn't say nothing to her that day. But then it came time for women in the Marine Corps. The main subject. Well, I was the second person that got the floor. The major was part of our school circle that day. Him and the sergeant major. Well, I got the floor, which meant I had the floor. No interruptions. That was part of the law that they established. So I started talking. And I brought up the fact that if you're a staff sergeant and you receive 2 sets of orders, one male, one female, to go to CMC, that's Commandant of Marine Corps, his reign of terror up there in Washington, D.C. With the male, he just gives him his orders and he's gone. But with the female, that's different. The female has to go get pictures taken, uniform, front and side view, appropriate civilian attire, front and side view, a letter handwritten by the NCOIC of that particular female, handwritten letter written by the OIC of that particular female that's receiving the orders. Now those 2 letters and those 4 pictures are then mailed to the orders division at CMC. The photographs and the 2 letters have to be 100% approved, and then a message is sent to give the woman her orders so she can proceed to CMC. Now that to me is very prejudicial. I believe wholeheartedly that the women in the Marine Corps, for what I witnessed when I was stationed at Andrews Air Force Base dealing with CMC, that the women of CMC are prostitutes, just like the top floor of the Watergate Hotel. They are prostitutes in order to service senators and congressmen to get their vote for the Marine Corps and the Marine Corps issues, and to get the Marine Corps money. So that makes the Commandant Marine Corps pimp. Well, the major started talking. I looked at the major. Excuse me, sir, but the rules that you stated, you don't have the right to speak. I have the floor. Well, he decided to put everybody on break, smoke break. I have to go make a phone call. Staff Sergeant Taylor, you're not allowed to leave this room until I get back. Well, everybody took a smoke break. I walked over to the soda machine, reached in my pocket, and brought out some change. All of a sudden, this female arm went over me and put 2 quarters in the machine. And she whispered in my ear, "I'm buying. Hit it." So I hit the Pepsi. She looked at me and she goes, we need to talk. And I said, okay. So we walked over and sat down. She looked at me and she goes, how'd you know? And I looked at her and I said, your words. And she goes, you and I have never talked. And I said, that's right. But see, your words, the day that first time we had to talk, you said you were awaiting orders. That means you stirred the pot. You became a thorn at CMC. That tells me that you refuse to spread your legs to the bureaucratic system. You refuse to go to the dinner with that old man that's a senator of some state. You refuse to have sex with that congressman who the Marine Corps wanted to make some money on. In other words, I got respect for you, because you're standing up for your rights. Well, she asked me what I was doing Friday night, and I told her nothing. She goes, good, you and I are going out. I'm buying dinner. I went, okay, that's fine. Well, about that time, the major came back, got everybody back in the school circle, and made a statement that the subject of Marine Corps, women in the Marine Corps will never be spoken up again in this school. I stood up and I looked at him and I says, where do I fall in this, Major? And he looked at me and he goes, excuse me? And I said, you denied me a cigarette break. I'm taking my cigarette break. And I walked out and had a cigarette. When I came back in, Sergeant Major came up to me and told me that I really stirred the pot, because the Major was not aware of the Marine Corps order dealing with men and women going to CMC, but he was brought up to date on that, and it thoroughly pissed him off. Yeah, but he took it out on me, didn't he? I lost respect for him. Where do you stand? You stand with me, Sergeant Major, or are you against me too? Sergeant Major assured me that he was on my side. Okay. Well, during that week, the Sergeant Major proved that he was on my side. Friday night came. That Staff Sergeant and I went out. Steak dinner. She bought the steak dinner. I told her I felt obligated, so I'd leave a tip. I left about a $20 tip. And her and I became friends through phone calls during the time that she had left. She got out, and I believe it was 81. Last time I spoke to her, I was in Hawaii, and she told me that she was getting out, and that she'd always remember me, just like I always remembered her. Beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. But she had standards. But what gets me is this. When I went through DI school, we had 8 women. They had to perform as we did. They did everything that we did, including the runs, in utility uniforms, including boots. Had to do 8 miles under 1 hour. Now, during that time, I told you I just started running. I'm a little bit ashamed to admit that my 1 hour running was only 57 minutes. I'm real ashamed of that. But I just started running, so, you know, that time improved immensely over the next 10, 12 years. But this is the part that gets me. The only difference between male and female, for what I've seen going through Staff Academy, and for what I've seen going through DI school, is what's in there. Oh, you got a major difference where you carry between your legs if you got one or if you don't have one. But that's physical. When it comes to running, when it comes to PT, when it comes to carrying your weight, there's no difference. No difference whatsoever. So, with that, I'm going to close this thing and put it up on YouTube. And as far as women in combat, I'm 100% totally for it. Equal opportunity. I still feel that everybody that is born an American citizen should put in at least 4 years in the military. That gives you enough time to see both sides of the world. Both sides. The inside and what freedom is supposed to be like on the outside. And I think it'd be a better America if every living soul at the age of 25 was a vet with no Dodgers. Anyways, that's all I have. May God bless. I'm looking at 1720. God bless.